we are talking about negative to commands. And if you'll see this sometimes, I'll just draw a to and a minus sign to let you know it's a negative to command. Things that you need to know to do negative to commands: you have to know how to conjugate verbs in the present tense, like regular verbs, and you also need to know some irregular verbs so you know how to conjugate those as well. Why are we doing this? To tell someone you know not to do something. It's a negative command. Don't touch that. Quit bugging me. Do not know this, know that. All right? Here's our rules and our formula for conjugating a regular verb for a negative to command. This rhymes, so hopefully this will kind of help you remember. So go to yo, drop the o, add new end, add an o. Go to yo is go to the yo form. So put it in present tense yo form. So tener would go to tango, vivir would go to vivo, practicar to practico. Then you're going to drop the o, cut the o off. You need to add the new end, which is down here. So AR verbs, instead of AS, it's ES. And then ER/IR verbs, instead of ES, they go to AS. So you just flip the E's and the A's basically. And then at the very end, you need to add a no before the command so we know it's a negative. Here's some examples that we're going to work through right now. So hablar, you're going to say don't talk. Then you're talking to you. You don't talk. So first we go to yo, so that would be hablo. So I already went to yo and I'd already cut off the o. Then I need to add my new n. Since it's an AR verb, we're going to add ES, not AS. Hables, and then at the very end I need to add a no. So this will work out to be no hables. You know, really the only difference here is that the A becomes an E. Now let's try an ER verb, comer. So instead of saying eat, you're going to say don't eat. Como would be the yo form. I drop the O. Now for the new end, it's an ER verb, so it's going to end AS. And as always, I need to add a no. No, instead of comes, comas. The A and the E switch. An IR verb, escribir. So now you're telling someone don't write. It's going to be escribo, cut off the O, escribe, then add the new end. It's an IR verb. It's going to be an AS ending. Escribas. And what do we need to add? Always a no, so we know it's a negative. No.
Thank you.
No escribas. Now that was how to conjugate regular verbs for a negative to command. Now we need to learn about the irregulars. These ones are irregular only in the yo form. So if that happens, you still follow the same rules. You're going to go to yo, cut the o, add a new end, add the no. It's the same steps, but the yo form is going to be irregular. So for example, salir, it's not salo. In yo form, it adds a G, salgo. It's one of our go verbs. So we go to yo, we're going to drop the o. Now we're left with salg, and since it's an IR verb, we're going to add, instead of ES, AS. Remember at the very end, you need to add the no. So this will be no salgas. Conducir has a Z in the yo form. So conduzco, after I went to the yo form, I'm going to cut the O off. I'm left with conduzc. Since it's an IR verb, instead of adding ES, we're going to add, hopefully you got that, AS. So it will become no, because it's a negative, no conduzcas. No conduzcas. And escoger is a little weird just because the G goes to a J. So escojo, we already cut off, so we already went to the O and cut off the O. Since it's an ER verb, we're going to add AS, and it will go to no escojas. So you can see you have go verbs, verbs that add Z's, and just overall irregular verbs only in the yo form. A couple more irregular verbs for you are the oi verbs. So verbs that in the yo form end in oi instead of just a regular o. So the D is for dar, no des instead of no das. I is for ear. Instead of no vas, it's no vayas. It's a little irregular. Estar. Instead of no estás, no estés. Do note that there is an accent here on estés. Careful to have the accents where they need to be. And the S for ser, no seas instead of no eres. Just gotta know those. Got a lot of words. All right, this one is about stem changers and conjugating verbs as a negative to command. You still, again, follow the same rules. Go to yo, drop the O, add new end, add the no. So we have one type for each of the present stem changers. So let's see, we have despertarse. That's an E to IE stem changer. So first I need to go to the yo form. Since it's an E to IE, remember it's always the E that's closest to the end, or the vowel that's closest to the end. This is an E to IE, so this will be despierto. So, despierto. And then after I go to the yo form, I cut off the O, cut off the O, add new N. Since it's an AR verb, I need to make it, instead of AS, ES. Despiertes. And the last part, add a no. Now, I'm sure you've realized that's not 100% done yet because this is a reflexive. And so since you're commanding you not to do it, instead of say, you will write te. The reflexives go in the middle of the no and the verb. Servir is an E to I verb. So the yo form is sirvo. I'm just going to cut off the O right now. Go to yo, cut off the O, add new end. Since it's an IR verb, instead of ES, we want it to end AS. Sirvas. And then at the very end, add the no. No sirvas. And an O to UE, jugar baloncesto. So in yo form in present tense, I would say juego. Juego. Cut off the O. Since it's an AR verb, I'm going to add ES. Okay? Juegues. But that looks a little weird, doesn't it? It doesn't look quite normal. Because this is a conjugating verb, we actually go to the yo form in preterite. So we're going to go to jugué. That's where we start. Go to the yo form in preterite. Then we're going to cut off the last letter. So in this case, it's actually the E. And we're going to add jugar instead of AS, ES. No jugues. And this E does not have an accent anymore. All right. Oh, so actually, jugar falls under the conjugating verb rules. So this one, you cut off the E in the yo form. And remember, the yo form, as we talked about here, is actually the preterite tense yo form. This should be the only time you actually have to go to preterite tense to do a present tense verb command. So practicar, practique. So we went to practique in yo form, cut off that E instead of the O. And then since it's an AR, it will end ES. And remember, at the end, we always add the no. No practiques. Llegar, that's a gar verb. So in yo form, it's llegue. We cut off the E, and since it's an AR verb, we add ES. What do we always add before the verb? Every single time? Always a no. No llegues. No llegues. Don't arrive on time. And a zar verb, cruzar. It goes to cruce. So when we put it in yo form, cruce, cut off the E. Again, since it ends in AR originally, we will add an ES. Always a no. Cruces. No cruces. All right, we've talked a little bit about this, but I want to make sure you take special note of this. Extra words, that would be reflexives and object pronouns, both direct and indirect. Always just put them after the no. So for example, levantarse, to get up. When you want to say don't get up, you have no Levantes, because remember, AS switches to ES, but your say is going to switch. It goes right here. Don't you get up isn't say, it's te. Comer el pastel. So eat the cake. Now we're going to say don't eat the cake. We need to know. ES switches to AS. And here we don't have a reflexive, we have an object pronoun. So el pastel, don't eat it, lo. So no lo comas. And you can still say no comas el pastel if you want, but if you want to use a direct object pronoun, it goes after the no. All right, now we have some practice examples. Please pause the video to work through these and make them into -2 commands. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to work through these. We're going to talk them through right now. So, beber la limonada, to drink the lemonade. If you want to, you can keep la limonada, but I'm going to make an object pronoun. So first we need the no every single time. La limonada can be replaced, but doesn't have to be, with a la. And beber. The yo form is bebo. Cut off the O. Instead of ES, we're going to add AS. No la bebas. Don't drink it, the lemonade. Correr, that is 2 R's. Correr, no, it kind of looks like an M. You obviously always start with a no. Corro. And then instead of an ES, we will add AS. Don't run. No corras. Sacar. Again, always a no at the beginning. Now this is a car verb, okay? A cargar. So we need to go into preterite. So instead of saco, it's going to be sake. Sake. And the E would be here with accent, but we cut it off. And then instead of AR, it will be, or AS, excuse me, it will be ES. No saques. Dividir is an IR verb. No. And then instead of divides, it will be dividas. Always switches that letter. Ir, no. This one's just irregular. It's vayas. One of our dies verbs, one of our oi verbs. And conocer, no. The yo form is conozco. Conozc. And then take off the O. Instead of ES, we'll add AS. And cepillarse los dientes, we got a couple things going on. There is a reflexive and also something else going on. So I'm going to write it not using an object pronoun because I don't want to be terribly confusing. We always need to know. We're going to come back to the reflexive later, okay? So now we're just left with cepillar. Cepillo, drop the O, and then instead of AS, we are going to make it ES, and then I'm going to just keep los dientes over here instead of making it an object pronoun. So that would be no, and then say, don't you brush your teeth, no te cepilles los dientes. If you really wanted to make los dientes a pronoun and get really complicated, you could make los. You could make los go there, but I wouldn't make you do that. And there's your practice. That is -2 commands.